Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are checking out the UH-60 brought to Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is a freeware project, still has a ways to go, but I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with this one, so stick around. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. Alright, so jumping right into it, the first thing that I want to address is that. Holy moly, there's an alert. So, this freeware aircraft, much like the, the R-44 that requires it as well, uses the Airland FS to inject its flight model. So, all that big green flash in the sky here is telling us is that we need to start Airland FS. So, in order to do that, what we're going to do is pull up whatever directory you have the aircraft installed in, open it up, go to Airland FS and launch it. It is very important that you use only the Airland FS that came with this helicopter. Do not launch the Airland FS that is associated with the R-44. Okay, so let's launch this. And boom, as soon as you launch it, the green splash goes away. And you can see that we've already set the UH-60 as our config. There's an SH, the SeaHawk. And then there is the UH, which is basically the Marine or Army version. What you want to do is hit load profile here if it doesn't say that. And we want to come here to find UH-60 and just open the profile. Set your sliders as you wish, and we should be good to go. Now, as we take a tour around the cockpit here for just a quick second, you guys can see everything is definitely on par with a beginning aircraft. You can see where they're going with it once again, just like we saw with the R-44, just like we saw with the H-135. It's obviously still in its initial phases, but definitely looking to be in a direction that we want to go. Same thing with the exterior. Much work to be done, but they are definitely on the right path. You can see the joint positions and mechanical linkages for the props. I mean, just everything is going to be coming along very nicely, and you can see that. You can see where they're headed based on looking at this template. It's like the early stages of a painting here. Alright, the next thing I want you guys to be aware of is in the startup. The startup sound is actually not bad. There's a couple weird issues. The prop sound triggers immediately, which you guys will hear. And then you can hear the wind-up sound, you know, the turbine spinning up. And it repeats itself over and over and over again. I'll let you guys hear that here in just a second. After we get started here and you hear the noise, I'm going to show you guys real quick how to alleviate that or remove it if you choose. Okay, so I'm just going to do a real simple Control E for the startup today. And there's that prop sound instantly that I told you about. And that whistling, that high-pitched start of the engine is what you want to listen for. It repeats itself. And here it comes again. Okay, so we're not going to sit here and rinse and repeat. You guys get the gist of what's going on here. That sound just keeps coming back over and over and over, regardless of whether you're in flight or not. So now I'm going to come out of the simulator, guys, and I'm going to show you guys how to remove that if you choose to go that route. Alright, so to solve that problem, we're going to go back into our installation directory. Here's my mods folder, aircraft. Here's the Destroyer 121 SH-60. We're going to go to Sim Objects, Airplanes, UH-60, because that's what we're flying today. Remember, there's two versions. There's the SH here. Let me back up. You have the SH-60 and you have the UH-60. We want to, and you might want to make this change for both. It's up to you. But you're going to want to make it in each directory because that's where it's getting its sounds from. So we're going to go to UH-60 and we're going to go to Sound. Not Sound AI, but Sound. And you're going to find this guy here, startup.wave, not the startupx.wave, just this top one right here. We're going to right click it and we're just going to rename it. I'm going to take my cursor to the very end, type .old. You can put whatever you want there. Don't use whatever. I just use .old because it's just easy for me. It's what I use a lot at work. So now we're going to hit yes. that you notice that now it does no longer have that audio icon, it's just a blank paper. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. So that lets us know that this sound wave is now disabled. Okay, so now we're going to relaunch the simulator, and that sound will be gone. Okay, one thing I did want to show you guys, I think it's because it was the last aircraft I flew, so it's already preloaded. You do get that big green splash screen up here as well. But once again, if we go to our Airland FS directory, once you start it, it goes away. Okay, so now let's get back into the aircraft, and we'll fly around. All right, so we are back. Now, I'm not going to put you guys through a ton of the other details. We've already been through the cockpit. You guys can make your own judgment for yourself. You've seen the exterior, so let's just get this bird started. We're just going to do a Control-E, once again, do an auto start. Now, notice you won't hear the wind this time that you heard last time. It's completely gone. You will hear a very high-pitched whine once the engine is fully started. So be listening for that as well. You see both engine gauges here rolling up. We can set our barometric pressure. There you go. And that's the first engine ready to go. So we're waiting for engine 2. It's very important to remember, guys, this is the very initial release of this aircraft. It is a free aircraft. Just to set your expectations accordingly and really give it its go. Because I will say that I have flown it around a little bit already in search of trying to get rid of that engine sound. And I really like it. I really like it. We're going to check that here in just a minute here. Alright, and I think we're good enough to call it ready. So let's go ahead and get moving here. We're going to apply some left anti-torque. Start bringing that power up. Oh, you know what? I know what happened. Sorry, guys. My SPAD.next crashed. The simulator crashed on me a little while ago when I was messing with things that I ought not have been messing with. So let me just close it and reconnect it. And I've said it many times, guys, while we're sitting here waiting, this program here is fantastic for mapping your keys and controls. Far better than the default control scheme. Gives you much more flexibility. It recognizes profiles. For example, if I jump from this over to my Cessna 172, it will automatically change profiles. I have all of my helicopters right now under one profile. You can break it down the way we've done with the simulator, whether it be twin complex, single complex, or you can create a profile for each specific aircraft. So it's really awesome, really awesome. But I think we're ready to go now, so let's go ahead and give it a shot again. Yep, you see that collective moving. And you do get sound changes. And there we go. Nice easy lift. Nice and gentle. Coming around. And we are in Casa Grande, Arizona, by the way, by request. Here it is, folks. KCGZ. Little town between Tucson and Phoenix. Gorgeous little place. And there you have it, UH-60 BlackHawk. I pray for the day that we get one of these in DCS World. The exterior sound, I think, is fantastic. I really hope this aircraft continues to develop and develop quickly. And the reason why I say quickly is because I'm impatient. But she's fun to scrape down the low levels. So you picture yourself out in the desert, doing a search and rescue, scraping the rooftops, ready to get people out of a dangerous situation. And this is what I do when I fly, guys. My imagination goes wild. Otherwise, what's the point, right? You're there, you're in it, your mind is the limit. She's fast, very fluid in the movements. I've actually spoken to real BlackHawk helicopters before, or helicopter pilots before, and they love it. They absolutely love flying it. So she's a dream to fly, and that's how they just always described it. Very smooth, very forgiving as a helicopter, as much as a helicopter can be forgiving. Very versatile. Great little helicopter, or actually not so little, I guess. But this thing is a joy to fly. I love it. I'm absolutely thrilled to death that this is coming to it. And you know what's funny, guys, and I need you guys to understand something. I agree with many of the sentiments in regarding military aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I stand by, for the most part, the opinion that it really doesn't have a place in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Other than, I mean, yes and no. I guess the full fidelity of military aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator certainly doesn't have a purpose. There isn't any combat. But at the same token, you know, leaning on the other side for a minute, I could see the appeal, and especially if we can work out a better camera system where you can create like your own air show. You know, I think it'd be kind of fun. But this aircraft definitely. I mean, it's crazy to say, because you have the H-145, which is fantastic. The 135 is fantastic. The Bell 47 is challenging as all hell. And then the new R-44. I mean, they really are great helicopters. You know, I can't stress it enough. And so far, of all the ones I've flown, this one's my favorite. It has that BlackHawk feel. It really does. Rip it, get down low, get into the dirt. Whether you're doing a simulation, or you're putting on an air show, or... By the way, have some corrections to my previous video that I promised I would announce. For the was the 145 video that I did. It is not called vertical ring state, it is called vortex ring state, and it is, if I'm understanding it correctly, I was right about the basic principle of it, which is basically the aircraft is descending faster than the rotors can generate the lift. You basically get into your own rotor wash. So I had a couple things wrong. It can only happen, my understanding, at low prop RPM. And for the most part, it sounds like it can only happen during a more or less or close to vertical hover or descent. So I hope I got it right this time. And I don't ever want you guys to feel bad about correcting me about anything. Please don't. I don't take offense to it. I value the information. It means a lot. I've said it before that I learned just as much from you guys as hopefully you guys learn from me. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm not a pilot, and I rely on the expertise of so many around me to get me over the humps just as much as hopefully you guys are getting from me. So anyway, don't ever feel bad about that. I really do appreciate it. Alright, so now let's go ahead and bring her in for a landing and call it a day, because this aircraft's also fun to land. Much easier to land. And again, I don't know if that's by design as far as the simulator goes, or let's start slowing her down. We're cooking along there. Now, you can't roll yet, by the way, even though she has wheels. The wheels are not modeled. So you must do a vertical landing. Don't try to taxi it. You'll just be dragging the aircraft. Always feather in that collective on the way in. Guess that's how I do it. Right or wrong. Seems to work for me. Oh, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. We don't want to go backwards. I think this is just a texture glitch, but it works out perfectly for us, right? I'm off. In the military, they actually have a line, and a pilot's goal is to drop the tail wheel right on that line and keep her straight. So it's not even about watching the nose. You got to pay attention. You have to know by where the nose is. You have to know where the tail is. It's pretty neat stuff. Oh, I'm too far. Ooh, dropped it pretty hard and missed. Well, guys, that is the UH-60 BlackHawk. Link down in the description below. I am really thrilled. Thank you to the developer for making this destroyer. You're doing a fantastic job. I can't wait to see what comes next. Make sure you guys buy him a cup of coffee or something like that on the TO website. And other than that, folks, let me know what you guys think. I always love hearing from you guys. I do my best to respond to as many of the comments, or at least let you guys know that I read it. And stay safe, stay healthy, folks, and I'll see you in the next one.